Hello, hello. I think we are live. Welcome, everybody. Let me jump on here and make sure that my stream is in fact on. Yep, looks like it's up. All right. Everybody throw a like on the stream. HDT, welcome. You are first. You are first. And yeah, let's get going here on these barbs. Has anyone else's chat in, well, let me let the music start. I'm pretty sure I fixed my music, y'all. But welcome. Thank y'all for being here. Sorry that I could not... Oh, there's fighting going on in 1254's KvK? That's good. I assumed there was, but we'll go check that out later. Yeah, I think I got my music working correctly. I was messing around with it earlier. So, I'm happy about that for sure. It has been a long week for me, a lot of work. And, just kind of in a weird mood, I guess. I should be happy, everything's going good, but I'm just in a weird mood anyway. D Phantom, welcome to the stream. How was the 960 KvK? What I heard was that it is very, it's mostly just casual. There's just like a lot of open field fighting. Another streamer, Dirty Dan, has an account in 960, and I checked out his stream last night, and he was fighting in the open field. And then I looked at his stream earlier today, and he was fighting in the exact same place. Like, they literally had not moved, and they were still just open field fighting. So I think that KvK is not super interesting. I think the 1093 370 KvK did not look particularly interesting either. And I think of the three, it's really the 254 365 KvK that is most interesting. Although I think we have a pretty good idea which side's going to win that KvK as well. But we'll check them all out. We will look in on all of them. I will give my thoughts and share information I have on all of them. I saw something very interesting earlier. I saw a screenshot of Arvix in 960 swarming someone's city in 2489. And Arvix also has accounts in 2489. A D Phantom, who do I think is going to win? 1254 versus 1365? I think 1254 is going to win. Looks like they're just stronger. Looks like they have the stronger army. Let me, guys, give me one quick second to just share this link out in a couple of Discords. And we will get this thing going. If you want to really get my energy high, please let me know and be honest about it. Please let me know if you are hearing the music just fine and there's no like stuttering or double play or the bass of the song stuttering a bunch. Because that's been happening on my last two live streams and it was driving me nuts. But I spent about an hour working on it this afternoon, and I think I got it. This is often the case with these barb keeps. When I'm talking on stream, we probably don't do them very effectively. We never get up to 120 when we actually make it to the keep, and we have to like kind of loop around again. Adrian, welcome to the stream. D Phantom says the music is perfect. All right, I believe you, but I'm also gonna, at some point in the stream a little bit later, I am gonna like just kind of pause the music for a second, stop talking for a second, and just check in on my own stream to confirm for myself that the music is right. But I do believe you, because I think I figured out what the problem was. I think I'm just naive about certain technical things, whether it comes to streaming or anything else technical. Where I just had I had these desktop audio. I had the desktop audio play, but then I also had a music playlist playing, and you could see the volume going up on both of them, and I naively thought, oh, that's not going to be an issue. That'll be fine. But it did create some issues on past live streams. Yeah, so we didn't we didn't do this barb camp efficiently at all. I can't spell either at the moment. If I had spelled inefficiently like that in Microsoft Word, Word would have fixed it for me. So. Yeah, happy Memorial Day weekend, everybody. For those not in the US, it is a long weekend here in the United States. We'll be celebrating Memorial Day on Monday, which is a holiday for American veterans of war, or just of the military as a whole. So, you know, most people are very much excited for the 4-day weekend, right? I'm sure a bunch of businesses got off early on Friday. Addy Navo drop. Addy, welcome to the stream. If you ever want to jump on voice, feel free to. But Addy dropping a bomb in chat, which I did not. He's Addy Navo saying in chat, 365 just saving for KL. No point in fighting, really. I suppose that's possible, and I do suppose that makes more sense than what they've been doing so far. Oh, Europe has a 4-day weekend also. Okay. Yeah, so it's like a big, you know, big weekend, I guess, all around the world, or at least in Europe and Asia, or in Europe and the United States. So, you know, stuff should be popping off in these wars. Bogus says Addy's Europe is different than Bogus's Europe. So yeah, maybe it's just some countries. Maybe it's just in the UK. There's a 4-day weekend, and some other EU countries, but I guess not in Scandinavia. But you know, things should be popping off in these KvKs, right? Everyone has the weekend to everyone has the weekend free. They don't have to go to work for 4 days. I'm sure many people in these 3 big KvKs literally didn't plan any sort of vacation, didn't plan any stuff with family. They literally just marked these 4 days off to fight in Rise of Kingdoms. So things should get interesting, and Addy Navo is not exactly the least well-connected player in Rise of Kingdoms. So when he says yeah, I mean, he said it publicly, so I guess I don't mind just repeating it and sharing it more. When he says 365 is saving for KL, I would say that's probably some pretty solid intelligence right there. And it does sort of make sense. It does sort of make sense. Yeah, I mean, it just kind of, I was surprised at how easily 254 has been walking through. I guess we might as well go to that KvK now. We might as well go to that KvK. Oops. Let me just... where is this? Here's the rewards that we get for the barb keeps. But let's go to that KvK, because I will admit that I have been a little surprised at how easily 1254 has been walking through the opposition. I mean, we can accept the fact that 846 is a little bit worn down by fighting 302. And let me find one of these main let me find one of these main 1254 alliances. And the thing about 846 is that we have to realize they have not gotten a star in a real KvK since 2021. I mean, they won a King of the Nile, but who knows who they were up against in that, right? So 846 was a bit of a question mark. But 365, while they are pushing back a little bit now, it seems like. Well, now they're burning again. Here we go. Easy Company rallying. And looks like a real garrison here. They've been using so many... I saw them use so many mixed, like, Heraclius, YSS garrisons. So this looks more like a infantry Flav Hera garrison. But... yeah, it's been a little surprising at how easily 1254 has controlled the field, swarmed flags, taken territory. And I guess last night is the first time that 365 made progress overnight during Asian time. So they did fight back a little bit at that point. And maybe they are holding back. Maybe they are holding back. Eddie says it's a big thing in the Korean community. 1V started doing it. Hold out, then swarm in KL. Yeah, I mean, it's possible. I just would have thought that 365 would have more of the advantage in this zone, or in these two zones, because it is a pretty complicated calculus as far as where to attack, you know, because they're fighting in both zones. Like, there are genuine fights happening in both zones. And so as a kingdom and as like an entire side, you have to decide where you're going to allocate your resources, where you're going to focus. And certainly in the early days of this war, on like day 2 specifically, I think we certainly saw that there was some turmoil in 1254. All the Q7 R4s had these passport pictures as their profile pics. You can see now that many of them have changed back. right? And TR, it'll be interesting to see if these messages are still up. Yeah, TR has we made HMB and SW leave. And they still got all the RIP profile pics. I don't know if that's RIP 1254. I don't know if that's RIP Rise of Kingdoms. Or is that RIP their enemies? Because they have been winning so far. But I detected a bit of tension in 1254 on day 2. I think just from the glimpses of the voice chat that you get and the vibes you get from watching some streamers, it seemed to me that there was some real tension there. But, you know, when you're winning, everyone's happy. Everyone's happy when you're winning. And so maybe 365 is laying back a little bit and saving for Kingsland. But by deciding to lay back, they allowed 254's morale to go up a lot. So I don't know. I don't know. I mean, even if 365 is doing their plan, even if their plan is still intact, I don't think you can say anything about this war other than the fact that 1254's side has the advantage. They have just been dominant in the open field for so many hours of the day. Thanks. Welcome to the live stream. Hope things are good in your part of the country. I'm just settling in. I'm just settling in. I had a lot of work this week, and I asked my boss for a lot of work this weekend. And for once, she actually had it. She actually had as much work as I wanted. So this is kind of going to be an old school weekend for me where I just do a lot of work. And my plan from a couple months ago to do live streams, to do weekly live streams on Friday evenings is being validated here. Because the rest of the weekend I'm not going to be able to live stream, but this is the perfect time for me. Because I don't have anything, I don't have any work due until Monday, so I can take a little time to focus on ROK, hang out with y'all, and just process everything that's happening in the game. Chilsey, welcome to the stream. Good evening to you as well. Addy says, I think they are probably quite upset about 960 fort drops last KvK. They were sort of wrecked by it, so taking a leaf out of their book. But yeah, I totally agree. The morale completely flipped because of their dominance, and now things look nicer. Yeah. Yeah, it's like a really interesting KvK to me. Because, you know, I mean, 254 had some things going. 254 had some things happening that we would always think would be like a death blow. I mean, 2 alliances announcing they're leaving. 2 alliances seemingly not really getting along with the other 2 alliances. I mean, I just there was obvious tension sometimes when like Chisgul would interact with some of the shot callers from TR and Q7. You could just tell. You could tell there was tension there. And certainly TR and Q7 had the right to gripe about what was happening. And when you have like very accomplished, smart, high-spending, high-skill players in this game, high-skill leaders in this game, they're probably... They will sometimes not bite their tongue and do what's best for the team. Sometimes they will just let their gripes be heard on voice chat in the middle of war. And my sense is that that's some of what happened on the first couple days of this war. But then in the last couple days, as 254 dominated, and as they had largely a very simple template for how to dominate, you could just see everyone's mood brightening. And when I say that they had a simple template for how to dominate, what I mean is that what 254 was doing was they were dominating the open field. You know, right now they are not dominating the open field. But what they have been doing traditionally in this war is they have dominated the open field, and then they have just simply swarmed and surrounded flags. Like, it's not that complicated. It's really not that complicated. You make it hard for the enemy to reinforce. You make it so only the cities that are right next to the fort or the flag can reinforce. And you swarm down these flags with big whale marches that have 3 auxiliary skills on them. And you get very good trades. I mean, I have barely seen a negative trade for 254 in this KvK. I'm sure they've occurred, but as someone who has mainly been watching this war through Chisgul's stream, I have really not even seen like one losing trade for 254. And when Chisgul swarms, Chisgul is getting even trades on his swarm. Like, even against Heraclius, he's getting even trades on his swarm. And that's putting massive, massive debuffs onto the flag, onto the garrison. And it's putting extreme reinforcement pressure on the flag. You know, the reinforcement pressure on the rally is actually less because the garrison is so debuffed. And the reinforcement pressure on the flag is higher. And they've just been doing that over and over again. And you know, it's like, it's a pretty easy thing to do. And the only way you stop that, and Eddie, I'm gonna push back a little bit on your theory here, and this is just occurring to me now. But like, the only way you push back on what 1254 is doing is you have open field presence. Like, you have to have open field presence. That's the only way to beat it. That is the only way to beat it. At least on this map, on this Orleans map. And so, like, I don't know what JST would be quote-unquote saving for in terms of open field presence. It's not like they're saving their actual troops, because you don't take deads in the open field. Like, are they saving their resources? Are they saving their speed ups? I mean, they should have a ton of those. And in the process of saving their speed ups and their resources, they're taking hella deads on all these bad trades. I mean, are they fighting over anything right now? I mean, they kind of are. So, like, this is a really nice fort for 365 because it's like so well defended. Like, this fort is beautiful, right? It's like actually fairly hard for 1254 to get open field control here. Daddy says, I always think 846 will perform to their stats and they never do. I get the feeling they're happy 365 came behind them and just were like, okay, we can sit back. They are so big and they do so little. Yeah, I don't know if I made this point to you, Addy, in officer chat or anything, but if you remember, I was kind of like, basically everybody, what I saw happening was that, like, the smart money, like, before this KvK started, the smart money was on, like, the 365 side, because the smart money kind of knew about some issues with 1254. But my thing, and a point that I did make at one point, was like that 846 has not held the Zig in a real KvK since 2021. And, like, that's a long time. That's a long, long time. And I don't know that 846, it's like hard to assess, right? I really can't assess how 846 played here. Because like they certainly pushed 302 back, but 302 accomplished their objective. And even now, I mean, 846 is kind of holding the line. Like, they're kind of holding the line here against HMB. But, you know, like this fort's healing and stuff. So, I mean, on some level, you can say 846, like, is kind of doing okay. But they just haven't had that push. You know what I mean? I think on some level, when you're assessing kingdoms, you have to look for the push. Like, yeah, people can defend, and if you just defend all the time, you kind of look like you're a capable kingdom. But do you have the push? Addy says, the auxiliary skills are really OP for whale swarming, and I think maybe 1254 has the most whales also. Not sure, though. Yeah, I'm going to talk a bit more I'm going to talk a bit later about the money aspect here. He says, I think one thing you have to consider is that JST are the best alliance by far, and of course are the most organized, but speak a different language. Are BLN OG just suiciding, and JST are like, guys, chill, just forward. We don't know what's happening there. Yeah, we don't know what's happening there. This is great, man. Addy's like literally more outspoken than me. Banks sneak dissing 1077. No, I mean, I think it is fairly well understood at the high level that a lot of kingdoms can defend and far fewer kingdoms can attack. It's not just 1077. It's really not 1077. Addy's saying 1302 taking a leaf out of 1077 book, actually. Yeah, I mean, that's a great point, you know. Sometimes defense is exactly what you need. 1302 did a 1302 did a defense first strategy at this pass, and it allowed them to get into Ile-de-France. It allowed them to accomplish a major objective, and it might have won them the KvK. You know, I mean, having a great defense will win you KvKs, right? Having a great defense may have won 1077 a KvK way back in the day against 1075. You know, for all we know, that KvK was won by 1077's defense because they held off 1075 for like a week straight and really wore them down. Actually, I think it was longer than a week straight. I think they held them off along with whatever that Chinese kingdom, like CN21 or whatever they were. And so defense can win, but here's the thing, Banks. Here's the thing. Okay, defense can win, but more often than not, what defense does is it just makes you lose more slowly. The vast majority of the time, when you play quote-unquote good defense, all you are doing is losing slower. And, you know, I could argue that 307's most impressive KvK, when they held off 960, I could argue that all they really did there was play defense and lose more slowly. So that's all I'm really saying with 846. I'm just saying, like, where's the push? Where's the push? So yeah, I mean, like, that's the, yeah, like, and I'm just going to repeat myself here, but defense used in the service of winning is actually an aggressive play. And that kind of defense is way different than defense where you're just like trying to make yourself look good. You're trying to like get like a decent amount of kill points to show that your kingdom contributed, even though you lost. That's a whole different kind of defense. That's just, you know, that's limp dick defense. You know, since we're kind of talking about this KvK now, I'm actually just going to show you guys a little bit of footage that I captured last night, because I thought it was some pretty good footage. This was another, this for me, this was last night. This was at about it was about at 3:30 UTC yesterday. And the reason I was recording this was because this, to me, was one of the first times that I saw 1365 contesting 1254. Now, 1254 has the majority of the open field here, but they don't have all of it. And in retrospect now, I think what's interesting here is that this was almost a preview of what JST did overnight. Like, this was almost the beginning of an offensive, because JST went on an offensive later in the night, and these were like early shades of like 365 having more people online, 365 trying to fight back. But what you're watching here, you're watching two things. You're watching Chisco rally this Heraclius flag, and you're watching Yoda swarming Zangbot City. Like, Yoda is straight up swarming this dude's city. This dude is online, and he does take deads here. You know, his power is very low. Zangbot's power was like 85 million here. I'll check it at some point. I'll check his yeah, he's got 85 million power. He's got like 80 million deads right now, but those deads are going to go up. You know, I don't know, maybe he was like offline for a minute, maybe he was like AFK. But I just captured it. This is like about 12 minutes of footage, and I just thought it was pretty interesting, because I was like, man, they're finally fighting back. Like, they're actually like finally, you know, defending this flag like sort of seriously. Like, this thing's not getting swarmed down in 2 minutes. Jay, welcome to the stream. Jay says 1846 probably drained so much already. No way they can contribute fully now without losing so much. And Arinalo says 1846 drained from doing what though? Accomplishing absolutely nothing apparently. Just awful. But you have to attack even if you have no troops, just to take pressure away. And Jay says, exactly, well said. They tried their best to get to the pass and had to fight farms and forts, lol. Yeah, 1307's defense was great, for sure. So, what I'm looking at here, what we're looking at, it's hard to see because everyone has a red march, but like, you're seeing some of these like bot marches, right? Like these BLN marches, they're getting close to the flag. And like, this is what you have to do. You have to contest the ball underneath the flag. It's not easy, but you do have some advantages as the defense. You move faster because you're on your home territory. You have certain kingdom buffs from fighting on your own territory. Your cities are closer when you refresh. And if your march gets really low, you can just jump in one of your friendly cities. So like, what you have to do here is you have to fight this ball. You cannot just concede the field to this ball. You have to just like kind of form up. You got to gradually form up, and you got to gradually work your way through this ball. And at the same time, we're watching, when I was recording this, I'm actually watching Yoda. I was watching Yoda like swarm Zangbot. Because it's like Yoda is doing so much work in this KvK. And there's the shield on Zangbot. But I am just struck by how much work and how much value 1254 is getting out of Yoda's account. Where he can just swarm anything. He can swarm anything. He can bring out 7 insane marches over and over again. Be a huge presence in the open field. And I think one thing we have to acknowledge about this KvK is the role that money has on Rise of Kingdoms. I know that sounds obvious, but I think sometimes we get lost in the romance of this being a challenging game, a high skill game, a game where you have to get a lot of people moving in the same direction. You know, you do have to get a lot of people together working towards the same goal. But gosh, does money make things a lot easier. I think that 1254 just, I think they spend a ton of money, and I think they had a massive army. Such that even if two of their alliances were not getting along with the other two, even if their R5 bunny was apparently like AFK for a day or so, you know, people were asking, where's Bunny? Where's Bunny? And it seems like when Bunny showed up, the morale did go up. But I mean, they are just using, they have a bunch of players who they have a bunch of players who spend money and use that money well. I'm gonna look at Yoda's city at some point, but Yoda basically has lost like a 250 million power. He's gone from like 1.75 billion to 1.5 billion. So he has essentially lost nothing. Like nothing about his let me just fast forward here. Like nothing has been affected. Oh, there's a bit more about this video that I'm going to talk about. Knight, welcome to the stream. Wiser, welcome to the stream. Cherry, welcome to the stream. Happy Friday. Yes, happy to spend another evening with you as well, Cherry. Oh, Knight, you're from 1254. Awesome. Thanks for jumping on. Wiser says, one thing about Yoda, you have to be able to contest the field or he can't do any of that. Yeah, you know, but I mean, I think Wiser, like, their bigger priority was to try to, oh, here I'm gonna look at Yoda. So yeah, Yoda's at like 1.74. Yeah, he started at 1.8. So he's lost like 250 million. And he's just doing a ton, man. He's doing so much work. I mean, he literally was just swarming Zhang. He literally made Zhang 0 on the front line. Like, that's insane. And the other thing, so here's the other thing about this video, right? I'm like watching this. I'm watching this, and I've been noticing this for a while. I'm like, where is the back flag? Where is the back flag, dude? I'm gonna start looking at these flags, I think, and showing you, like, they did not back flag. BLN did not back flag. You know? Like, they had this fort. I'm guessing maybe this fort did get completed. But this was like a key flag. The flag that they're burning down is such a key flag. And there was no back flag. There was no back flag here. And you're gonna see what happens. It's kind of wild what happens, actually. Let me catch up and chat here a little bit. You can never talk about Yoda without putting into context. He's a 150 mil player for matchmaking. The effectiveness is insane. Right. I mean, Yoda counts for 150 million power in matchmaking. And he's gonna do, like... I mean, first of all, there's a difference between an effective 150 million player and a less effective 150 million player, right? Like, Chisgul is an example of someone who is very effective with his power. And Yoda, and, you know, I think he might have one pilot, one very highly skilled pilot. The two of them are doing, like, so much work with that account. And, like, that's the power of money in this game. You know, where it's like, so there's the back flag. Like, they just started a back flag. Like, no one has even joined the back flag yet. So, like, this was a pretty big mistake here by BLN. You know, not having a back flag up here was like a pretty big mistake. And I can certainly understand that it happens, right? Like, these wars are a marathon, and sometimes, you know, you just don't have one of those decision makers around to put this back flag down. But I think a back flag like this is a perfect example of what someone who is like an R4 and wants to like slowly take on more responsibility. This is what such an R4 should be looking at. They should be looking at spots to do fundamentally sound things, like putting up back flags in time. Because you knew this flag was in trouble. You knew it was a super important flag. And that's basic stuff. I mean, maybe they were out of resources and credits and stuff and crystals, maybe. But I mean, somehow you got to get this. You have to have a back flag there. And you see DJ teleporting out, but you're gonna see a bunch of teleports in a minute, because this flag is about to burn down. But that's just like one of those fundamental things where it's like, if you're losing territory, you have to just be building the. So look at that. Look at that. All those cities got ported out because this fort took all that territory. So I mean, they literally just lost like 8 frontline cities right there. And you know, it's just one of those things, you know. Like I'm not even that good at placing back flags. I'm the annoying person on voice who's like, is this the right place to put the back flag? Do I put the back flag here? Will this have an impact? Am I doing this right? You know, because you don't want to waste crystals. I think the reason more people don't build back flags is because they don't want to waste crystals. But it's just it's something that's not that complicated and is quite important. So I think in any kingdom, more people should be looking for when to back flag. You know, so anyway, that was what I recorded last night. We can see what's going on here, and let me catch up with the chat. Thank you all for tuning in. Throw a like on the video if you haven't already. Weiser says he does take massive pressure off the mid-tier spenders because him and the other whales are always first into swarm, so others can be the next wave and the next wave. Jay says, I've seen some presents for 254 during the streams. They've been going and going. Chisel and Redline at the top of kills. List for KvK. Yeah, I think they've been putting in a lot of work. It looks like a farm's getting zeroed here. That hurts. Oh, you don't want this. This hurts, man. This hurts. Is this the real nugget? The like old school nugget? Yeah, you don't want to waste a farm like this. This is a farm that does work too. You can see by the kill points that this farm has put in some serious work over the years. Oof. Are they baiting it? What's going on here? What's going on here? Knight 8564 asks, Yoda has a pilot. Last time I've checked, he's the only one that has access on his account. I heard he has a pilot. I heard he has a pilot. SC Payne, welcome to the stream. Jay says, well, Mephisto couldn't make the money win. You need a team and coordination. Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's a good point as well. Oh, looks like Nugget was maybe baiting. Looks like it was just baiting some kills here. Kind of interesting. Interesting. I'm surprised they don't swarm it. You know, like even with the Sun Tzu garrison, I'm surprised you just don't swarm it. Oh, is it empty? Is it zeroed? I'm not sure what we saw here. I'm not sure if we saw the end of a zeroing. But then it would be a maxed tech farm. I'm not sure. 5 VI. I just got 10 million in 50 days as FTP and 3164. Great Kingdom, definitely recommend. I'm trying to beat 12-inch PvP-ness F2P record. Hey, good luck, man. That would be crazy. I would like to see you break his record, just because then I feel like 12 inch is the kind of person who might try to break it back. And certainly his content when he was going for that was interesting. It's good to see. It's always more enjoyable to watch a highly motivated 12 inch than like a less motivated 12 inch. Yeah, I don't know what we saw with those farms there. I'm just like not sure. Raph, welcome to the stream. Good to have you here, man. Knight says, what are the chances of me getting to 770, bro? Yuli and other cuties there already, but bogus don't let me go there. Knight, I mean, it's I think you would need to, I don't know how close you were. I don't know how close you were to the cutoff, but, I think you would need to have some good performances in a KvK or two. And then, you know, if you have good performances and the players from 1252 can put in a good word for you, then it's always possible. But I think at this point, the migration requirements for 770 have gotten tougher for sure. They've gotten tougher for, you know. For those who don't know, 770 is basically has just finished up a big migration of players from 1252. The core players of 1252 migrated and joined the Handsome Devils. So we're really excited about that. That's been going well so far, and you know, just really happy to have them. 5VI says he's 1 million power ahead of 12 inch. That's amazing, man. That's amazing. Yeah, you must be in a good alliance in that kingdom to be able to do that as FTP. Yeah, Knights, I do kind of remember your name from fighting against you guys. So it looks like a very easy burn on that fort. Pretty militaristic approach here by TR and Q7. We saw them ball up over here, and then we just saw them sort of very patiently. They didn't attack this fort right away, I don't think, but a very disciplined, militaristic burn. Looks like Bunny's online, and Easy Company is also online. And then a bunch of people with blank names. So I would imagine they're going to burn everything over here at this point. But yeah, I mean, all in all, this KvK has been decent. What was I talking about? Oh, we were talking about money. We were just talking about the impact of money in this game. Yeah, it's just been kind of an eye-opener for me, you know? Because sometimes I just feel like, oh, you know, if we just have really good strategy and all of our leaders, you know, put in a ton of effort and are online on a regular basis throughout the KvK, then you know, we'll do really good. And we will do very well. But I feel like there's three pillars in ROK for ROK success. There's skill and strategy, there's money, and then there's effort. And they're all key. Because a lot of what we saw in this war was, again, it wasn't that complicated. Like, you take the open field, you surround a flag, and you rally it and swarm it. Oh, I also wanted to show you the report from... let me show you the report from... Where did I save that? 1 second. Oh, that's not it. Oh, here's the report from that Chisgall rally that we saw. I mean, I just think we saw reports like this over and over again from 1254. And I mean, there's something pretty simplistic about what we're seeing here. 1254 is preferring the Tariq Pakal rallies because those are the most stable rallies. What I don't have in this report, in this screenshot, is like the reinforcements. The reinforcements of this rally were kept very, very high. Very steady, nice reinforcements. Which is one of the really nice things about Tariq Pakal, is that it dies so slowly that it's quite easy to keep it reinforced. And then on the BLN side, we're seeing Heraclius, YSS, mixed garrison, right? So basically they're just saying like, throw everything in here. Throw everything in the flag. So there's just like a lot of brute force. There's a lot of brute force happening in this war. And, you know, you need effort to make that brute force happen because you need people online all the time. You need shot callers on voice chat and in game all the time, setting markers, directing people to the next thing. But it's not complicated. It just takes effort. And it takes money to have a lot of troops, have a lot of speed ups, have a lot of resources, and have very strong marches. And then there's just that one other pillar, that third pillar, that is skill and strategy. And we romance things to think that skill and strategy are some really big part of the game. But I'm not sure that that's the case. I kind of think skill and strategy are like 1/3 of the game. And the other part is effort and money. And as triumvirates go, as a triangle of needs go, that's not bad. That's a pretty reasonable triangle. Lambo, welcome to the stream. Great to have you here. Thanks for hanging out, and thanks for all your coverage of these KvKs as well. I've been busy all week, Lambo, so I've not been able to catch too many of your streams. I'm curious what you think about what you've been seeing as well. You know, I just think this war has kind of spelled things out, you know. Cigar says, the things about 365 versus 254 1v1 is they have different time zones. During 365 uptime, they dominate the murder ball, and during this time, burn everything. Yeah, Cigar, that's a very good point. I appreciate you mentioning that, because it is true that I have mainly been watching this. I've been watching this war through Chisgall's stream for the most part. I'm the kind of person who I would just rather like watch a streamer than go on the map myself and watch it. So yeah, I've been watching it during 254 uptime. I don't know exactly how things look overnight. I'll try to capture some of that this weekend if I have a bit more time. But you're right that the uptimes are different. And I mean, the lines have not moved that much. You know, these fort walls have not moved that much. From an objective point of view, in an objective sense, nothing big has happened since 302 got in the zone. Lambo says, insane fighting from all sides. 254 off to slow start due to 302 not getting through the pass. Today, kill events seemed to be the first time 365 made a huge push. Every other time I've watched, everything 254 touched was on fire. Yeah, that's what I've seen, Lambo, is I've seen 254 just burning everything with pretty light resistance, you know? I showed slightly stiffer resistance that I recorded last night, but those examples were few and far between. I mean, even when we started looking at this like half an hour ago, there was like some... What is going on here? Oh, maybe over here is where the spot is. This is a tough flag to defend. Yeah, this is a really tough flag to defend over here. Well, we'll see what goes on over here, because it looks like the 365 ball is at least as big as 254's ball. Addy says, oh, I hate watching stream when I can't scroll around the map. Yeah, I'm different. I just like sitting on my couch and watching somebody else play the war. I'm totally fine with that. Because also you can see the blue names, right? Like when it's an actual player in the KvK, you can see the blue names, right? So, you know, it's not like I'm watching these wars for, you know, 12 hours a day. I might watch it for 3 or 4 hours. And if I'm going to watch for 3 or 4 hours, I would rather see the blue army on one side fighting the red army on the other. Lambo says 960 versus 2049. They've been fighting over the same piece of grass for 28 hours now. Yeah, I noticed the same thing. They're just fighting on the same spot. And 1307 versus 1093 seems like 1093 made more progress during 1307 downtime than 1307 makes during 1093 downtime. Yeah, Lambo. I was hoping to check out the 307 1093 KvK a little bit later. I looked on it real briefly and I could see that 1093 was winning. You know, that looked like a... I don't know. That looked like a very kind of like basic war. You know, it's like... If you're the stronger army, then you burn and move forward. If you're the weaker army, you fall back. And like hopefully you strategically place your forts in a good place. But I don't know, I wish that they had put those two camps on like opposite parts of the map and allowed them to fight 2v2 in one of the bigger zones. I just think that would have made for a much more dynamic fight than what we're seeing now. We're seeing just kind of like this fast-moving trench warfare. I don't know, it just didn't seem that interesting. I'm kind of just like preferring this war just because it has like more dynamics. It has the dynamics of morale. It has the dynamics of many kingdoms participating. And I guess this is the one where like it's still a bit of a question who's going to win. I think with the other ones we kind of know who's going to win already. And even in this one I feel like we have a pretty good idea. Yeah, it's you know, the money aspect is so interesting because it just must be so demoralizing to fight in the open field against a 1254 whale or against a 960 whale. Because not only are they stronger than you, so even if you get the numerical advantage on them in a fight, like they still might trade positive or they still might trade even. And it's like, what are you trying to accomplish against people who have like years of speed ups and billions of resources? What are you trying to accomplish? Are you really going to wear them down? Are you really going to wear them down before they wear you down? And I think maybe that's why, you know, if 365 is saving for Kingsland, maybe that's why they're doing it. Because they have no actual hope of outlasting 254 in a long-term open field fight. They have no chance of starving 254 of resources and speed ups before they get starved out. Patty says the Warriors Unbound map are a pain to navigate because of Lucerne. The flags there might look normal, but they will all be out of resources. The 93 should push the top right. Patty, I was wondering, what were you saying the other day about Warriors Unbound being a not great map because of your ability to exploit the forts? What did you mean by exploiting the forts? Well, so let's see what that is saying. And 93 should push the top right. Push the top right. I mean, it looks like they're burning over here. I mean, they just have so much stuff on free burn right now. Yeah, I mean, the issue... So, like, with this map, right? I mean, the issue with this zone here is that it's so long that, like, you have crystal problems with forts. I'm a little surprised that 93... You can see that 93 was, like, quite conservative here, where they flagged out with their main alliances. And I believe they didn't do these fort drops until recently. Whereas what you saw with 960, what you saw 960 do was 960 literally dropped, their main alliance dropped a fort, and they just started flagging from the 960 fort. So, Addy, one thing, I'm sure you know this, Addy, but one thing is, if we ever did have to fight in this zone, I think the play is you drop the fort. You drop the main alliance forts, and then you just, like, start flagging from the forts instead of flagging from the pass. You flag from the pass with farm alliances. And I guess 307 did the same thing. Yeah, you told 93 to do what 960 did. Yeah, I think they should have done that. There's a lot of kind of wasted flags here. It should be 307 uptime. Yeah, I agree though. First to drop a fort can block the pass. Can you drop a fort here from the very beginning? Is that viable? Because it's so close to the enemy's... Yeah, can the enemy flag... If you drop a fort here, if 93 drops a fort here from the start, which maybe they did, I don't know. But if they drop a fort here from the start... Oh, that's what's exploitable about it. Oh, okay. So you can't reach here. You can't reach here. Yeah, that's pretty scuffed. That's pretty scuffed. Yeah, I mean, that's why I wish that they had been on opposite sides of the map. And they could have linked up with some of their allies and fought in these very big zones. I think that would have been more interesting. Oh, they can even get to the enemy Huron first? Yeah, that's too bad. Oh, they could have forted all the way around the enemy Huron. Right, yeah, if somebody had a ton of forts, they could just do that. They could get through the pass first, and then drop forts in all the places you need to drop forts. Yeah, I would agree that that is exploitable, yes. Warfare should not be determined by who gets through the barbed pass first. That's why I'm fine with Heroic Anthem, right? Like, that's why I'm fine with the Zone 5s in Heroic Anthem, because, yes, if you get through your pass first, and you drop forts that can block the enemy, yes, it slows down the early flagging. But it ultimately is not a big deal. You know, if your flagging is a little bit slower in Heroic Anthem, the worst that can happen is that an enemy fort drop gets built that you otherwise would have destroyed. But they can't really slow you down. You know, in Heroic Anthem, even if you get through the pass first, the enemy can't really slow you down. .1093 just makes big brain plays. It's impressive, KvK after KvK. Yeah, I mean, I think what's more impressive to me is just that they are beating 307 militarily. You know, they're just showing themselves to have a stronger army. That certainly is the kind of thing that makes That's the kind of thing that makes you look real smart, is having a great army. Yeah, the big brain move was how to take the pass as fast as possible. Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. And that's just not, that's a boring thing to be good at. All right, I am just gonna chill. I'm gonna put the stream here for a minute. I'm gonna mute the music, and I'm just gonna listen to my own stream and confirm that the audio is good. So just bear with me here. All right, so I'm muting the music, and then all right, it looks pretty, sounds pretty good. I'm just all right, it sounds pretty good. I'm talking a little too loud, so I can see that my voice is getting clipped quite a bit by the mic. Hi, Rue. Welcome to the stream. I am going to translate your name, my man, so I can figure out exactly who you are. I think I know who it is, but I don't want to assume. Yeah, audio sounds pretty good. I'm just talking too loud, so my audio is getting clipped. Because it's been a good chat, so I get excited. Very happy to have Lambo and Addy and everybody else in the chat. That's always what I'm looking for, is just to have some good conversations. Just create a platform for some good conversations. Let me get the music going again. Oh, Hanmano, what's up, man? Welcome to the stream. Hanmano. What important diplomacy will Hanmano play a role in the future? Being that he has an account in 770 and in 1034. Yeah, many old friends from 770 are about to fight each other in the 1034 versus 1079 KvK. That's a tough draw for 1079. I'm not gonna lie. That's a tough draw for 1079. See, I mean, here you just have to try to poke at this ball. I know it's like super hard, but I mean, I guess they're doing what they can. It's not to say that 365 is doing like everything incorrectly. They're keeping these garrisons sort of full. Like, it's not you see like a bunch of reigns, right? There were a lot of reinforcements in this fort. And it's probably a bunch of farms. You can just even see by the names. You can see by the names, these are just a bunch of farms, right? Rud 88 is not a farm, but I mean, they're filling it with farms. They're causing deads to mains who are swarming by their farms. But I just think the defense could be stiffer, man. I don't know. I just thought defense was stronger in this game. I mean, defense has been strong in this game for so long that it's weird to see offense absolutely wreck it. especially just a few months after Heraclius was released. I mean, the ultimate anti-swarm garrison came out, and swarming is more powerful than ever. It's pretty wild. Addy says, 307 seemed to have good leaders. Whenever 93 switched focus, they were ready to attack the gap left when I was watching. I did see that I did really like where CB put their fort. CB put their fort in a really nice spot. But like Addy, the thing that I'm kind of being a little bit, I guess, bummed about is, I mean, we have fought in numerous KvKs where after 48 hours we did not know who would win. You know, I mean, we have fought in KvKs where after 2 weeks we didn't know who was going to win. And what I'm seeing in like 1307 versus 1093 is after 24 hours, don't we kind of know who's going to win that one already? I mean, is there enough of a close contest that we don't know who's going to win? Is there enough of a close contest in this KvK we're watching right now that we don't know who's going to win? And I just think it's weird. I think it's weird that at the highest level, we're having these wars that get resolved very quickly. I mean, yeah, they last, they go on for days and days and days, but we pretty much know who's going to win early on. Whereas even our kingdom, our very, you know, we're just a medium-sized A kingdom, and we have had multiple wars where we did not know who was going to win after multiple days. You know? Which is like what's so interesting, man. That is what's so interesting about this game, is when you've been fighting for 48 hours straight, you're sort of worn down. You know, you've lost troops, you've lost real assets, your morale has shifted up and down, but you have to keep trying to bring your A game because nothing is decided. You know, you're still trying to actually win. You still have that real strong incentive to play your best because you don't know if you're going to win or not. And you know that your A game will help improve your win probability. Tech, good morning. Welcome to the stream. Addy says, definitely excited about 254 versus 365 Kingsland. Hopefully at the moment of starting, the morale is good on both sides. It is possible. I guess as I was saying earlier, if 365 has no hope of wearing out the 254 open field, then it kind of does make sense to wait for Kingsland and engage in a very objective-based war. That is a very good question, 5VI. That is a very good question. I think it's soon. I think it's quite soon. What am I thinking about? Yeah, I think it's pretty soon. Because I just remember from the last one, which the 1429 and 1671, I remember that KL opened fairly quickly. So yeah, like 3 days maybe? That sounds about right. Yeah, it's weird. It's like, when I look at these zones, I think to myself that this is the more strategic. These are the more strategic zones to fight in. But I guess it's the case that these zone 6s become a battle of attrition, where everyone ultimately has sufficient teleport space. You know, you can fight from your forts to a pretty reasonable degree. And so it just becomes like a war of attrition, a war of like who's getting the better trades, who's wearing their enemy out more. So in some ways, maybe Orleans, even though it's like a way smaller zone, a way smaller zone, maybe it is more strategic in some ways. I mean, the teleport space in Orleans is going to be crazy. Crazy. There are just so many resource tiles in this zone. So many resource tiles. And so these Imperium kingdoms, these, you know, really high spending Imperium kingdoms are going to have to put some effort into farming up all these tiles when Kingsland opens. And it might favor 365 a little bit. The lack of teleport space might favor 365 a little bit due to the fact that 254 gets so much value from its whales. And so yeah, their top end whales will be able to port into Kingsland, but their second tier of whales will have to walk a long way to get to the fight. So maybe that favors 365 more, but I don't know. Level 6 passes open May 30th, 15 UTC. Oh, so it's like 5 days. Thank you, Wiser. Lambo says day 21, pass 5 opens, day 31, pass 6 opens, if I'm interpreting the website correctly. Okay, so they do have a lot of time. They do have a lot of time. Yeah, yeah, if 365 doesn't have a really good weekend, then I think it is likely that this one's going to be over before Kingsland. If 254 has 5 days to put in work, then I think there's a decent chance it's going to be over before KL. Because they're going to lose a lot more forts. They're going to lose more forts, then they're going to build more forts. Oh, look at this one. Look at this spicy little fort here. Ooh, this is a nice fort. That's a nice fort right there. Eddie says 4.5 days. I think that's 4 fort layers, not too hard. Lambo says they just going to keep back building forts like 302 did, like 960 did. Yeah, I guess you guys are right. I guess you guys are right. I'm pretty sure 960 got more value out of their forts than 365 is getting right now, though. I'm pretty sure 960 wore out an entire army. So pretty nice 365 ball here. So I mean, they're even setting up the double rallies now. That's the thing, this zone, I think this zone has a lot more opportunities for double rallies than the choke point that 302 had. So they'll be able to double rally a lot more of these forts. And if you're getting bad trades on a single rally, imagine how bad the trades are going to be on a double. It is an interesting strategy by 365 though, right? They're killing their farms in this zone. Which is not bad because their farms aren't going to be able to do anything in Kingsland anyway. Because it's just so small. You know? You would have to walk your farms, whatever, like 20 kilometers or whatever the distance of the unit of measurement is in this game. So they're killing their farms now so they can use their mains in Kingsland. I mean, yeah, I guess if you don't have the army to go toe-to-toe with 254, I guess that maybe on some level they are doing what they can. That river has, Lembo says, that river has been an issue too. They got to fight all the way to 365 flags through the choke points. Yeah, you can see that the river is really where things are at this point. Actually, you can see how important this river is because SW is putting up a fort at the river. You know, they're putting a fort on the other side of this river in preparation for downtime later. And Red just ported his farm right next to this fort. So yeah, interesting stuff. I mean, it hasn't been a bad war, right? It hasn't been a bad war. In a way, we should be glad that Chad made that announcement because it's made the fight more interesting. We thought it was the thing, or I thought that it was going to be the thing that killed 254's chances. But what Chad's announcement actually did was it just gave 365 a fighting chance. Lambo says, I wish I made an account there just to view LKC. Yeah, Lambo, that's kind of the thing. When the stream started, I said I was in kind of a weird mood. Because, you know, I should be in a good mood, basically, because, one, I was the only person streaming at the time, and two, I'd fixed my music issues. So I should have been in a good mood, but I was kind of in a weird mood because, well, for what, I also should have been in a good mood because my last video, my Zug Lang video, it actually got more views than I expected. I thought it would maybe get like 400 or 500 views. It's got over 600 views right now and probably is on pace for 800 or 900. So I should have been happy about that because I did better than expected. But I was bummed about it because a bunch of other Zug Lang videos did much better than mine. And I was also bummed because I also had thought about making an account or getting an account in like 1093 or 1307 so that I could spec those KvKs with the blue names or yellow names. And yeah, I mean, I just kind of wish I had done that. You know, I was beating myself up a little bit for not doing a bit more to improve the content on my channel. But, you know, nobody's perfect. I'm very thankful that people are enjoying the stream. Thankful that people are tuning in and that you know, it's fun. It's fun to talk about this stuff, honestly. I mean, this was like a really good stream. Addy will hopefully jump on voice in the future. Lambo, I'll reach out to you later. You're always welcome to jump on our Discord and join the voice chat of my streams as well. I really like thinking through some of these things, you know. I'm the type of person who thinks out loud, and so even though I've been watching this war a lot, or a fair bit, it's nice to actually talk through some of the stuff that's actually going on. Lembo says, heck, today was the first day someone actually told me my stream was on their front page. Lembo, your streams have been doing good, man. I saw you out with over 100 viewers a number of times in the last couple days. I'm not exactly sure how it works, but I think that YouTube does a pretty good job of promoting live streams. Like when I go to my subscriber page on you know, on a desktop, it'll show all the live streams right at the top. Like when I go to my subscriber page, all the live streams, the current live streams, are right at the top of the screen. And YouTube tends to show past live streams near the top. I subscribe to this financial YouTube channel called The Compound, and they did some live stream like 18 hours ago, and when I logged in today, it was right at the top of my subscriber feed. So yeah, I'm sure, Lambo, that there are a number of people who see your stream when they load up the app, when you're live. Chilsey says, always on my front page. Yeah, I think YouTube's doing pretty good on getting exposure to live streams. I think they want to push the gaming angle, right? They're trying to take market share from Twitch. And also, who's building? Oh, this is also Q7. Yeah, I mean, YouTube is trying to take market share from Twitch. And they're actually... There's a lot of gamers now who are saying like, oh, YouTube is better because there's more discoverability on YouTube. You know, where someone like me, I was able to, you know, I was a complete nobody, right? But I made some good videos. I got people to subscribe to my channel via the videos. And then when I started live streaming, I had all these people who were already subscribed to me and were inclined to connect to a live stream because it literally appeared when they opened up their app. Lambo says, okay, I should have said today was the first time a new viewer said they saw it at the top. Oh, gotcha. Gotcha. Well, that's interesting. That's interesting that you're getting, like someone who's not subscribed to you is literally seeing your live stream at the top of their YouTube. Yeah, that's pretty wild. I mean, I'm pretty blown away that I'm able to get, you know, 15 to 20 viewers at a time on these live streams. Because on a platform like Twitch, people will literally stream every day for a year in order to maybe get 15 viewers. And I'm hopping on here once a week and able to get those kind of numbers. I mean, I think I'm like pretty, I'm pretty thrilled about that, actually. It's made me just think about, you know, turning something that was just going to be a part-time hobby into something a little bit more serious. But, I mean, we'll see how it goes. A big question is always whether ROK will stay a popular game. Because if, you know, regardless of how good your content is, if ROK has half as many people playing it or half as many people interested in it, then your viewer count's going to be cut in half too. It doesn't matter how good your content is. I think we're all in a situation where a rising tide lifts all boats. If the game does well, then viewership is going to go up. And part of how the game does well is by having a lot of content creators putting out content, giving people live streams to watch. I was thinking about it, yeah, I was just thinking about it in relation to other games, you know. I think that in ROK, the fact that it is a pay-to-win game and people are spending more money on the game, I think that tends to also mean people support content creators more, and that just creates a bigger environment of content creators. And so I think there will be games that have a similar player population as ROK, but they probably have like way less of a YouTube community or Twitch community. Algebra, welcome to the stream. And Cherry says, not sure if anyone is having problems, but I'm getting blurry picture watching the stream. I clicked out and back in, but no luck. Let me look what it says. Let me look at the stream health. Let's see. It says YouTube is saying one thing about my audio, that I need to raise the bit rate. I don't think I can do that where I'm at now. The stream health looks okay for me, Cherry. I think in general, my stream is streaming on relatively low graphics. It's something that I tried to fix, but then my audio got screwed up. But I think I can maybe work on that in the future. I'm just trying to get slightly higher resolution on my streams. But oh, Mad Max is in is this the whale? 959. No, this guy looks pretty old. Try manually setting the quality instead of having it on auto. Yeah. I'm still figuring out some of the I'm still figuring out some live stream stuff for sure. It is definitely an acquired skill. But it looks like they've got the double rally set up here now. With TR and Q7. But it also looks like looks like 365's trying to go on the offense a little bit. I'm not sure many of these rallies make sense. I mean, this thing has no chance. But it will be interesting to see if they actually extinguish this fort and what happens at that point. Yeah, I mean, I do have my settings on low as far as the kind of graphics quality I'm sending out via stream. I mean, the graphics on my computer are good, but my settings are such that the graphics are a little bit low. Is this like a really key fort? I guess it is. I guess they're kind of... What is going on here? So they can go around maybe. Yeah, I guess this fort, these two forts here are pretty important. This fort is going to go down, I think, just because it's a very hard fort to defend. You can only put a few cities near it. But it looks like 365 is pretty focused on defending this fort, right? This is where their open field is right now. But it might be too little too late because the double rally is set up. All right, Cherry, good to hear that you can actually watch it in HD. I did not realize that was possible. That's cool. That's cool. thanks everybody for tuning in. Throw a like on the stream if you haven't already. And please subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to slowly but surely inch my way towards 1,000 subscribers. And I do want to thank Algebra. Algebra checked in a few minutes ago. I do want to thank Algebra for donating to the stream a couple of weeks ago. Algebra was my first donation ever. There is a link to Streamlabs in the description, and that's going to always be the best way to donate, just because I think I get a bigger cut of that money than I would get through a super chat on YouTube. But I do really appreciate that from Algebra. And beyond that, the best way to support me is just throw a sub on there so I can get to 1,000 subscribers, at which point some of you may start... Well, you already are seeing ads when you click on my videos, but once I get to 1,000 subscribers, I will actually make money from those ads. Daddy YouTube makes you grow up before it starts paying you any money. Hi, the real world. Have you set up donations yet? Yes, I do have a Streamlabs link in the description, and it does work. It does work. And then once I get to 1,000 subs, there will be the ability to send me super chats or become a member of the channel. And I do have some cool plans for membership perks. I have one membership perk that no one else is doing that I think I can set up and that will hopefully be cool for people. So stay tuned for that. Algebra says, let's get this man to 1K quick. Not too quick, man. I still have a bunch of things I have to figure out. I have to make sure that the alerts are working, and I need to set up some emotes, I think. Lambo, I do not have donations set up for the donation link. That's the one thing. But I see that. Oh, Lambo, I am guessing that you're the person who just sent me a dono. In which case, thank you so much, man. Really appreciate it, dude. Really, really appreciate that. $10 donation from Lambo. Awesome. Really appreciate that, Lambo. Great to it's been great to connect with you recently. I will absolutely I need to hang out in your live stream more. I've been saying that to myself. But I appreciate that, man. For those who don't know, Lambo has a YouTube channel as well. And so I'm sure he understands he understands the value of the donations, you know. It really does help. It really does help. Because it just makes it feel a little bit more worthwhile, you know, like the time we put into this stuff. If I can monetize the effort I put in a little bit and, like, you know, for example, pay for the money I spend in ROK, then that just makes this a much more sustainable thing to do, you know. But yeah, I need to get the Streamlabs donation link set up. Because I don't use Lambo, I don't use the Streamlabs OBS. I use just the basic normal OBS, which I think maybe the basic OBS is like a little bit more complicated to get set up correctly, but at the same time it's more customizable once you learn how to use it. That was my thinking behind using the regular OBS. But yeah, the notifications don't seem to be all working just yet. Knight8564 says we need Brian to be famous faster than Plato did. Plato will kill me if he read that message. Well, I like Plato. I think Plato's a really good streamer, honestly. Lots of good videos on how to set it up. All right, that's cool. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, to get some of my audio settings correct, Lambo, I did look through some videos and some tutorials. Like, the big step forward for me was figuring out a way to set up my mic where it's not picking up the click of my mouse and it's not picking up like noise from the outside. So like if the neighbor's dog is barking, you can't really hear it on my microphone. And also how my computer is very noisy. You know, I have a good computer, and when I record with my mic through Audacity, which is what I record my videos through, you pick up all the computer fan noise, and I take it out in the editing process. But I was always like, man, how am I gonna edit out the sound of the computer fan when I'm live streaming? How am I gonna do that? But then I eventually figured out, oh, I can set up my microphone in such a way that it literally doesn't pick up those sounds. And that's when I started live streaming. And now I need to get to the next step of getting some displays on the screen. Knight says, one question though, do you chain? Oh yeah, dude, I chain a lot. I don't chain in the home kingdom, but in KvKs I chain. When we were in KvK, a lot of my Friday night live streams would just be me chaining for an hour or two. And I'm actually planning to pick that up a notch and do more chaining in the future. Because oh no, Ned, I love the questions. Where are you from? I live in Las Vegas. Yep, it's a nice summer evening here in Vegas. 90 degrees or so. Perfect temps. Although I like it a little bit hotter, actually. Yeah. Just a nice chill night in Vegas. I'm gonna order some Thai food when the stream ends. And yeah, I'm gonna have a very sober weekend of doing a bunch of work. But yeah, on the chaining thing, I need to chain more in the future, because I honestly have been doing it wrong. Like, none of you who have been watching the stream for months, none of you told me that I was chaining wrong. I was using Nevsky or Minamoto as a primary on my secondary chainer. Obviously, Richard YSG is my main. Richard YSG never dies, stays in the field forever. But on my second chaining march, I would use Nevsky Heraclius or Minamoto Heraclius when I should have been using Double C. Because Double C has the heal. Double C has a massive heal that triggers on 10% of attacks. And I think I should have been using Boudica instead also. I think Boudica is my third best. I think that Boudica is my third best primary for barb chaining. Real Word asks, what's your favorite thing to get from a Thai restaurant? I get a pad siu. I'll get pad siu, and then I'll get a little shrimp tom kai shrimp or soup. So here, I'll show you guys. I'll show you what I get. I'll show you exactly what I get. Well, actually, maybe I shouldn't show you exactly, but maybe I don't know. What's a good picture of pad siu? I guess I can show you. I should be paranoid about like showing you my local restaurant, but I'm that idiot who would show it anyway, I guess. Maybe I can do this in a good way. But yeah, I haven't been using the right Here's a good example. Right? This is a pretty good example. Yeah, I'll get some pad see-ew, which is like these thick rice noodles with beef, some green veggies, and this like dark sauce. I'm actually not sure exactly what's in the sauce, but it's just like a really nice dark sauce. Tastes absolutely delicious. And then I will get some like coconut soup, basically. Show you that. It's like a very like spicy soup. Here we go. And then I'll get some shrimp tom kha, which is also quite nice. I'll get like a spice level 4 on the shrimp tom kha and a spice level 5 on the pad see ew. Eat the shrimp first, or eat the soup first, get my mouth burning, and then cool it down a slight bit with the pad see ew. What about you, Real World? What do you like to get from Thai restaurants? Knight says, I am using Richard YSG, CC Hera, and Martel Theo. Probably will use Lohar Zug Lang soon, but don't know. Yeah. I am probably going to use Richard YSG, CC Hera, and then maybe Boudica Zug Lang? I don't know. I don't know if Zug will be... I don't know if a 551 Zug will be better or worse than a Max Terra. I'm not sure. But yeah, I'm going to try to triple chain barbs a decent amount during the next KvK. Maybe do a few more... maybe do like a few more live streams. Instead of doing like once a week live streams, maybe I'll do another stream where I'm just like chaining. Realwood says, I don't normally eat Thai food, I'm afraid, but I do like some things from Wagamama's, but I don't know what they're called. Yeah, I mean, Realworld, for me, I liked Thai food for a long time, but didn't love it. And then a friend of mine was talking about how they always order pad see ew. I Googled it. It looked good. I ordered it one time, and it was just like so delicious that sort of made me much more of a Thai food eater than I had been in the past, because I like found that one dish that is like perfect for me. Lambo, thank you so much. Really appreciate the donation. Really appreciate you hanging out. Have a good one. And I'll absolutely catch you on your live stream as well. Eddie says, you got Theo, quad chain, or go home. Man, I can't stream and quad chain. I can comfortably double chain and stream. When I try to triple chain and stream, it does not go that well. So, but maybe I can get better at it. Raxiel, welcome to the stream. Hope your Friday's going good. Okay, so they have healed this fort. They have healed the fort. They have King skilled to try to contest this open field. But 254 is coming in with a vengeance. They are coming in with force. But yeah, I do think these fights are pretty important. You know, the fights at this stage are pretty important. Or the fights at this time of night, right? 2 UTC. You know, being from a Korean kingdom, we kind of know. Yeah, Real World, donos don't show up yet. Yeah, I need to add that. I need to add that. I absolutely will add that. I know that it is pretty important. But yeah, like fighting for control at this time of the night is, I mean, this is when 365 has to have some sort of, they at least have to make it a bit even at this time. I mean, it's 11 a.m. in Korea. It's 11 a.m. on a Saturday in Korea. So, and like in Europe, I mean, what time is it in Germany right now? It's 4 a.m. in Germany. It's 11 a.m. in Korea and 4 a.m. in Germany. Like, 365 has to be able to defend at these hours, I feel like. And they're just getting pushed back. Like, at the end of the day, they're just getting pushed back from this fort. 254 is doing what it needs to do. You know? They're pushing, like, yeah, 365 has open field, but their open field can't get to this fort. And so it falls on just a few cities to reinforce this thing. I think this garrison will hold just because I'm guessing 365's reigns are going to be a little bit light, only because they're focused on the open field fight. This is the other thing. There hasn't been a ton of swarming of these rallies from cities near the rally. There has not been a ton of swarming of the rallies. That is something I've noticed. Yeah, Real World says 3 a.m. for me. Oh, Real World, where are you at? Algebra says it seems like 365 is drained. Well, Algebra, earlier, Addy did speculate that 365 was saving themselves for Kingsland. And that's sort of a Korean strategy at this point. And I do think, you know, you're seeing a template of how to play offense in this game, right? Your rally lead is in a different alliance than the marches surrounding the fort. So the marches surrounding the fort can attack any swarmer and keep the rally defended without taking AoE. But really, like, honestly, these marches should literally like stay right here. They should just park out. I like what these 365 marches are doing near the rally. This is what you have to do. You know, you just have to be annoying. You have to be annoying. You have to swarm that rally. Woo Uncle swarming now. And they're trying to get their ball to the fort. They're just not able to do it. So yeah, the fort did hold there, as expected. Algebra says, I'm surprised there aren't many Pakal Heralds. That would be interesting, right? That would be interesting. Yeah, I mean, when we were fighting against 1077, in a very similar situation to this, you know, 1077 did a couple things that we're not really seeing 365 do. Number one, they were swarming the rally. They had a player right next to their garrisons that was very diligently swarming rallies. He would attack. I would then attack him. He would pull back into the city, and then a second or two later, he would swarm the rally again. It was very, very diligent. He did it for like 45 minutes straight. The other thing that 1077 did was they had a couple of very thick Pakal Heralds in these cities nearby, and those Pakal Heralds were being annoying. I mean, not for nothing, but they were annoying. You would try to send a march to the ball, and your march would get hit by the Pakal Heralds. They would pick off farm marches, sometimes walking to the ball, and they would keep the ball away from certain cities. And so, yeah, I mean, I think those little things, well, I mean, there's two sides to it, right? One could say that Pakal Herald is a waste. It'll be a waste to build Pakal Herald now, just to have them for these like city defense situations where you're like way on the back foot. It'll be better to build a skill damage doing march that you could use in the open field as part of your team's murder ball to actually win open field fights. Like, why build a march to use when you're losing when you can build a march to help you win? So I think that's part of why we don't see a lot of Pakal Heralds, is because kingdoms have coached their players not to build that march. But it is useful. There are important situations where Pakal Herald is useful. Algebra says even a Martel Alex hopping in and out of cities is good. Is that true? Can that possibly be true, that the Martel Alex is getting positive trades against like Nevsky? I mean, obviously you put your best inf gear on it and everything, but I mean, if Zug is so OP, then maybe Zug is even a good pop-out march. I wish, I guess HDT is fighting again. But I would be curious to hear from HDT how he feels about playing against Zoogs at this point. Eli said earlier today that he's hearing some pretty mediocre evaluations of Zoog. That it always gets targeted. That there's something about Zoog's animation where it's like easier to target or easier to see it. I think he maybe has that aura around him all the time, that marquee aura. I think it's either that or his portrait always pops up. But anyway, Zoog is getting targeted quite a bit. We're seeing a Zoog go down right now, right? This guy's Zoog is going down, or not? Maybe not. Let's see how good this Zoog does. Yeah, Eli had some very interesting comments about Zoog earlier. Not sure they're accurate, but I certainly hope that Zoog is balanced via the fact that he's pretty easy to target, pretty easy to bring down, can't escape. Algebra says Alex can proc instant skill, plus Martel wants to get swarmed. Just go back in city before enemy gets skill off. Well, I don't have Alex anyway, but that's interesting. I don't know what my best city hopping march is. I don't know if it's Attila Takeda or if it's Nevsky Joan. I'm actually not sure which one is going to be a better city hopper. I guess probably Attila Takeda. Yeah, I mean, that's I mean, the thing with Zoog is that I didn't think they had to do that much power creep at the moment. I felt like there was room to do other things with commanders. You know, we could have stayed at the Nevsky power level for longer and done some interesting things and added more variety to the commanders at this existing power level. And one example of the interesting things you can do with commanders is you can make commanders like Pakal Herald that are useful in niche situations. So we've got another rally here on the BLN fort. JST has the field here. So this is an ambitious rally by Bung Suave. So we're seeing some pretty good resistance here. We're seeing some pretty good resistance. I mean, I'm going to be real. If JST actually is saving themselves for Kingsland, then that is an extremely impressive display of discipline. Because I think it is very, very, very hard to convince a kingdom to hold back. I think it's very hard to convince your players to do that kind of thing. I would be so afraid to... I would think it would be so hard to do that I would be afraid to even try. You know? So it'll be interesting to see if 365 does turn it up over the next few days. That would be fascinating. That would be absolutely fascinating. But getting back to commander variety, you know, speaking about Pakal Herald, it's an older march. It's not relevant in meta murder balls. You're never going to see Pakal Herald in a mid-fight in Ark of Osiris. But in certain key warfare situations, like the one we're seeing now, where you're fighting among cities and your side is struggling to remain on the open field. I mean, JST is not trying to win the open field. They're just trying to, like, keep their marches out there. In a situation like this, a Pakal Herald is very useful. It has, like, actual, genuine wartime value. And I think they could have maybe done some more things like that. You know, give a niche, make niche commanders that serve some purpose in certain war situations, but aren't overall useful. Because I think some people would build that. I'm trying to think of another example, like another dynamic that people could take advantage of. Maybe like a ranged march that's not actually ranged, right? Like maybe a ranged march that, like maybe a normal open field march that does like very, very minor chip damage from a distance, but where like that chip damage is actually giving them a good trade. Because the problem with ranged is that like basically the ranged marches trade badly against the regular marches. But what if you had a ranged march that actually fought pretty well head to head? Like it was mainly a melee fighter like everything else. But if it wanted to, it could stand a distance and do like a little bit of chip damage. You know, something like that could be useful. It could be useful for somebody who doesn't want to fill up their hospitals anymore, or someone who's almost out of troops, or it could be useful for someone who just doesn't have very good open field control. Because I mean, most of what you're seeing fight now, like most of the people in these fights have like insanely good open field control and are like, you know, they're doing they're literally shifting directions every 2 or 3 seconds. They're doing that annoying dance that we all have to do to actually make it in a fight like this. If you can't dance, if you can't endlessly dance, then you just get wrecked. HTT, what's up? I was just wondering, HTT, what you thought about Zhuge Liang. Algebra says, I thought I saw in Chisgle's video that the siege marches actually trade quite well. Well, I didn't realize that Chisgle had used his ranged march yet. You know, I mean, yeah, if you build an actual bona fide ranged march, then yeah, it can work. But like, no one's gonna do that. You know, I mean, we don't even allow siege in our kingdom, right? We don't even allow siege in our kingdom, so no one's gonna build an actual ranged march. But what if you had like a regular march? What if you had like an archer march that could attack from range? HTT says slow but good. I'm using Zug YSG this KvK. It does damage, but it's so slow. Do you think it's OP? HTT? Do you think that Zug is OP? Raz in 770 has ranged march, but deleted for migration. Oh, that's a big rip. That's a rip. That's a rip. Yeah, I mean, if he has a ranged march, I think we could have let him keep his ranged. If the dude has a ranged march, I feel like he could have kept his siege. So a bit of fight back here from 365. I don't know, hard to say when I'm being overpowered in terms of tech by JST players. Zug is still faster than Guan, right? That's a good question. Let me check. I guess I haven't skilled up the Zug, so. Oh, I need to do some stuff in the home kingdom here. All right, let me get Duke. I mean, I know archers are like a little bit faster than infantry, but I guess I can test, I guess I could test like, what can I test? Do I have march speed on this guy? No, I don't have march speed on him, so. All right, so Guan to this barb. Let me test something better than that. Sorry, I'm an idiot. All right, so Guan to this flag is 536. What's YSG to this flag? 512. So yeah, I guess it looks like an archer with no march speed. An archer with no march speed is faster than an infantry with 18% march speed. I thought that well, let's see what happens when we factor in Scipio. Scipio and Guan are 508 to this flag. Whereas, what were they, 508? $512. YSG Zug is 512. And these guys are 508. So basically, it's about as fast as Guan Scipio. Good night, Addy. Thanks for hanging out. HTT says, I don't know. Hard to say when I'm being overpowered in terms of tech by JST players. Guan gives 15% march speed, so I don't think so. Well, it looks like Guan Scipio is basically the same speed as Zug YSG, which is surprising to me. That is surprising to me. I thought they were faster, honestly. But yeah, I mean, I guess it's a fair point. It's a fair point that Guan has just as much trouble escaping, other than tile hopping, than Zug has. I mean, what's faster? I mean, I can do a more basic test, right? Guan Scipio is 447 to this flag. Boudica YSG is 434. Oops. 434 versus 447. So I mean, Boudica YSG or Boudica Zug is going to be faster than Guan Scipio. So in a way, I guess it is a little bit weird that we're all saying Zug is so slow and so targetable, when Guan is just as slow and just as targetable, other than being able to tile hop, which really doesn't come into play that much. While I'm back in the home kingdom, let me go ahead and open up my armaments. I'm quite sure we have plenty of likes on this video. Yeah, 25 likes. 4 new subs on the stream. I appreciate all the new subscribers. And let me open up these armaments. And the deal here is we're going to do half of these, half of the blues are going to be arc, and then the other half are going to be wedge. HTT saying, yeah, I don't know, my Guan is faster than my Zug. Yeah, it has always felt faster, hasn't it? My Guan has always felt faster than my Boudica. Alright, we're just going to burn through these armaments here. Hopefully we get something decent. Skippy also gives March speed off territory. Okay, okay. What is this? 2.4, 3, 4.2% of stats. Not bad. I'm definitely gonna lock this. 4.2% of stats might be an upgrade. Alright, for these other 10, we're going to do wedge formation. And I really want infantry wedge equipment. Remember when I used to get, didn't I get a legendary with an didn't I get a legendary from a blue chest one time? Something like that? Or like a epic with a really nice inscription? Oh! Okay. Okay. So this is 3.5, 6% of stats. Okay. Well, that might be an upgrade. Not a terrible archer one. But that's pretty nice right there. I'm gonna check if that's an upgrade to my Scipio collection. I'm not using wedge formation right now, but my wedge is actually getting kind of decent. Oh, I already have a good one there, I think. No, I don't. Okay, this is great. This is an upgrade. Where's that guy? Yeah, look at this. Nice little 2% upgrade right there. I mean, I'm losing the health, so maybe it's a little bit less. Maybe it's like a 1.6% upgrade, something like that. But yeah, all right. We always take the upgrades. The upgrades are always, I'm always fine with those. All right, so let's hit these purples. I really didn't get many chests this week. It is what it is. All right. No. All right, and the one legendary. The one friggin' legendary. Algebra says my Cav armament got another upgrade, which is kind of crazy. That is crazy. That is crazy. Are you building a Cav March, Algebra? I know you have like a bunch of stuff you want to build right now. So all right. Let's it's been a pretty good stream, you know. Got a great donation from Lambo. 4 new subs. Viewer count in the double digits most of the way. Feel like I'm due for a little bit of streamer luck. Let's just take a look. We got the Archer March speed here, but nothing else. I really need to branch out from Inf. Yes, I'm trying to build one. Yeah, your Cav armaments are so good that you just have to build a Cav March. But I guess the equipment is also the issue, right? The armaments are good, having them extra, you know... I mean, your Cav armaments are basically so good that you're getting about a... you know, like a 12% stat advantage against your enemy. But then they can easily have 12% of stats on their equipment that you don't have easily. Just from the iconics alone, much less having all legendaries, etc., etc. All right, let me send my gatherers and stuff out here. Let me do some actual productive in-game activities. But that's cool. I mean, considering I spent $0 on armaments this week and had barely any chests, to get an upgrade is pretty good. And even that Cav shield armament might have been an upgrade. Let me take a look. That was like 4.2% of stats. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's an upgrade. Oh yeah. Yeah, what did I say this was? This was yeah, this is 4.2% versus 3.5 here. Oh yeah. Yeah, to me this is definitely an upgrade. Yeah, no doubt. Okay. And then it'll probably be an upgrade for my XY off of that. Oh, 3.5% of health? I guess not. I guess not. Yeah, I guess not. All right. Oh, it's more than gems. It's more than gems. That's cool. Oh, dude, I just spent all my gems. I just spent all my gems on that wheel, on that Zoog wheel. What can I buy? What can I buy? So, you know, one thing that I didn't realize is that one of the things you can buy during More Than Gems is you can stock up on these 24-hour speed ups, right? Because I usually buy these when I need them in a war. I'll just like buy them the day of the war. But you can buy them during More Than Gems. Let me buy some of these first. Let me see what I want to do here. I want to do the 7,000. I'm just going to do the 7,000. So let me just buy these speed ups here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, so here's where I'm looking as far as gold heads go. So last week in Arc, we were playing a team that had won 12 or 10 games in a row. So I was thinking that I should max Heraclius for that Arc match. And then I got it to 5551. Matba, welcome to the stream. So I got the Heraclius to 5551, and then I realized that I was not going to have enough to max him. I was like 10 gold heads short. But now, obviously, I do have enough to max Heraclius. And I'm going to. I'm obviously going to. I could max him right now. There's like sort of no reason not to. But then I've also got Zoog, right? I also want to get Zoog as high as I can. I'm going to level this guy up because I'm having trouble scrolling to him sometimes. So, but then I've also got Zoog that I need to level him up too. So basically it's just, I know I'm going to have Heraclius maxed, and then it's just a question of how far can I get on the Zoog before we're in a war. So there are certainly arguments for me to go all the way in More Than Gems. The 16 extra gold heads I get would be useful, but ultimately I need gear. I need equipment more than I need gold heads. So I'm saving my gems for either another egg event or maybe Dalrux. Or I guess people said Esmeralda is basically as good for materials as Dalrux. I kind of want to do Dalrux just because I've never fully like spun it before, and I just want to see what happens. But anyway, I could max Heraclius right now. I could max Heraclius and use him in Arc tomorrow. We have another Arc match in a couple days, so is there any reason for me not to max him? Is there any reason for me not to max him? The only reason I held off was to just see like how OP Zoog was, because maybe there's some strange world where I would rather expertise Zoog first. But I can't really imagine that's the case. I think basically I'm going to look at what our matchup is in Arc, and then I will make a decision about whether to expertise Zoog or not. The other thing I was looking at is I was looking at the skills in this new Arc of Osiris. There's about 4 new skills. Now, Hidden Sentry is a no-brainer. Everyone's going to use Hidden Sentry. So Hidden Sentry is always going to be, it's like a ward, basically. If you've played MOBAs like League of Legends or Dota 2, Hidden Sentry is a ward that goes away after 12 minutes, and you can drop one every 5 minutes. And then they have these other 3 skills. So Total Vision gains 15 visual range from enemy troops and occupied buildings for 60 seconds. Also increases all allied troops' damage by 20% for 180 seconds. So the visual range is... so it gains 15 visual range from enemy troops. Does that mean... does this mean that we can see all the enemy troops and we will see a bit of range from them? Doesn't this mean gains 15 visual range from your own troops? From friendly troops? Like, how would you gain visual range from the enemy's troops? So this one is like, I didn't notice this when I read it the other day, but this is like a very weird mechanic here. Gains visual range from enemy troops and occupied buildings. Your own occupied buildings, but from enemy troops. This has to be written wrong. This has to be written wrong. But anyway, this one is like interesting, but ultimately you're spending 4 to get 20% damage, whereas you're getting like 50% defense for 3 on Mystical Formation. So anyway, this one looks okay, but not that interesting. It doesn't say enemy occupied buildings. It says your occupied buildings. I mean, it just seems to me that if you can gain 15 visual range from the enemy, then you basically, that means you can see every enemy troop, right? Yeah, I mean, I guess it could be enemy occupied buildings, maybe. But at that point, why does it matter? Like, if you can see the enemy, where the enemy troops are, why does anything else matter? Like, why does the range of it matter? Why does it being the buildings matter? But maybe that's what it is. I mean, it is called Total Vision, so maybe you can see the enemy troops. Then we've got Dust Up, which decreases the visual range of all enemy troops and occupied structures by 50% and their damage by 10% for 180 seconds. This one to me was just kind of like, I don't know, it's not that great. The damage stats are not that great, and then decreasing the visual range of the enemy, it's like, it might be useful, but we can never see it, and so it's a pretty unsatisfying skill. And then the other one, which I'm actually thinking about using this week, although I might switch to Total Vision now that I've read it again. The other one is Master Strategy. Moves up to 30 allied troops within range to target destination in 20 seconds. Upon arrival, the moved troops gain 50% increased troop attack for 180 seconds. So what I'm seeing here, the way I read this, is that it is essentially a warp. You send your allied troops into a warp drive. You know, if like you have a bunch of troops marching to the Ark, right? This is the scenario I'm picturing, right? You have a bunch of troops marching towards the Ark, but they're not gonna, and there's already, let's say there's already 10 enemy marches at the Ark, and there's already 10 friendly armies at the Ark. And they're just like staring each other down because neither one has a numerical advantage. Then you cast Master Strategy, and you all of a sudden in 20 seconds have another, let's say, 20 marches at your ball. Like, all of a sudden you go from 10 marches at your ball to 30 marches at your ball. And then you just like attack the enemy. You just immediately attack the outnumbered enemy. I mean, that's what I'm picturing with this skill. And that seems like pretty damn strong. You know, especially in the meta that we have now, where, you know, the team that we lost to recently, they went to middle very early. They went middle, you know, they went middle even earlier than us, and we go pretty darn early. And so then they got like they were positioned themselves at the temple, and we had to fight through them to actually get to the temple. But with this, you know, some of your marches get there early. The enemy has some of their marches get there early. Then you warp the rest of your ball there, and you just immediately attack them, and like you basically like win the middle fight early on. Mepa says, if the enemy has you targeted and they lose vision of you, they will stop moving. Yeah, so Mepa, are you saying with Dust Up? You're saying with Dust Up? Yeah, but I just think like if they have vision of you, then they're already pretty darn close to you, right? Like this would only apply when they're like they can see you, but they haven't touched you yet. You know what I mean? Which I just think is kind of a tough scenario to find. But this one's interesting now too, because it makes me think that you can see where all the enemy troops are. I guess the question is whether that's actually useful. I guess the question is it really worth 4 energy? I mean, you get a nice buff. All right, so here's the thing, right? Like this buff, we can say that this buff is basically equal to Mystical Formation, right? 50% defense versus 20% all damage. We can say they're basically equal. And this increases all allied troops damage. This only increases the troops damage in an AoE. Limit of 30. So I'm almost thinking wait, why can't I equip these? What's going on? Oh, am I not R4? Oh, I don't have a title. All right. Well, I'll change these later, but as I'm looking at these, I'm kind of saying get rid of War Drums and get Total Vision. Or I could get rid of To the Death, knowing that... I mean, the thing is, like, To the Death is still situationally good, and Master of Strategies is situationally good. Like, in some situations, you'll want to have Master of Strategy, but in other situations where you can't do a warp into outnumber the enemy move, you'd rather just stand and fight with To the Death. It's interesting. The thing that's nice about War Drums, though, is like a lot of times you really do just have like 6. You really just have like 6 skill points at the arc. You know, you use War Drums and Mystical. Wait, did they raise the cost on these? Didn't these used to be 2? Didn't War Drums and Mystical Formation used to cost 2? Let me see if I can find an old video. I think I deleted all my arcs, but okay, we do have an arc. Yeah, they used to be 2. These skills used to be 2. So they have like majorly nerfed. They have majorly nerfed War Drums and Mystical Formation. Because they used to cost 2 skill points and now they cost 3. That's messed up, man. That's crazy. Okay. So we just learned something. This is good. This is good. This is why I like to think out loud. Because you think out loud and you actually get somewhere, you know? you actually process some things. So that's pretty wild that they have raised the cost on Mystical and War Drums. So they're way less useful. Yeah, I think Master of Strategy could totally flip a match. Totally flip a match. And I'm going to also switch. I'm going to get rid of War Drums and put Total Vision on instead, for sure. The tough thing is that hard push becomes like really difficult to use now. Because you always want the 6 available. You're always going to want 6 points available to use Master of Strategy when you need to. And really, you're going to need 7 points, because even if you get into a normal straight up mid fight, you're going to want to cast Mystical Formation and Total Vision, or you could just cast To the Death, which is also viable. I'm just wondering if I keep Mystical Formation or if I do Valiant Stand instead. Because Valiant Stand is occasionally useful if like your Obelisk is getting taken early on. That's interesting though. I'm glad I noticed that. Yeah, Mapbot says, imagine 30 marches teleporting in on you out of nowhere. I mean, it seems insane. It seems absolutely insane. Like, that is crazy. Here's what's interesting about it, Mapbot, right? Here's what's interesting about it. Is that, like, what we're doing is we're picturing the normal arc map, right? I'm picturing a map where I can see everybody. I see the entire enemy army. I see where they are in relation to mid, and we make a decision to warp our marches. Because remember, it's 20 seconds. You have to wait 20 seconds. So all you're really doing is you're getting there like 20 to 30 seconds faster than you would walking. But if the enemy, if the enemy is actually close to mid, like if the enemy is close to mid, then this can be very easily neutralized, and it can be sort of like a waste of skill points. Because yes, you're warping ahead, but you're not gaining a big advantage of it, because the enemy is getting there in numbers anyway. I guess in that case it would prevent disaster, right? If the enemy gets there and you don't realize they're getting there, then if you had not warped your marches to the mid, then the enemy would have overrun you. So even in the worst case scenario, you're still getting a lot of value from this. So yeah, this seems like a very good skill. We would never be able to use it in conjunction with Total Vision. Because what you really want is you want to be able to see the enemy marches mid in order to assess whether they have a bunch of people or not. But how would you do that? Can't really do that. You just need a sentry. Honestly, it's going to be about putting the sentries mid. Putting the sentries mid is going to be really key. The very basic play is going to be place the sentry mid and then use Master Strategy when appropriate. That's pretty much the play. All right. So anyway, that's going to be interesting. We'll see our opponent in like 10 minutes. You almost have to sacrifice someone's march as a scout. Well, you can just, if you put a sentry down, if you put a sentry down, then you can just see everything. Banks says 30 Richard Constantines out of nowhere. Dude. They would never die. They would never die. I'm gonna have everybody build Richard Constantine. Then we're gonna play an arc match. I'm gonna have Heaven's Grace and Master Strategy. We're gonna save up 10 skill points. Then we're gonna warp the 30 Richard Constantines to the middle. And partway through the fight, we're gonna use Heaven's Grace. And those marches are going to last forever. They will not kill anybody, but they will last forever. And they might even be able to catch up with an enemy Belisarius that's carrying the arc. Whoa, what happened? I just dropped to 1 viewer. What just happened? It says there's 5 viewers, so it might just be an error. Anyway. Yeah, I'm gonna wrap things up in about 10 minutes. I want to see what our opponent in Arc looks like, and then I'll wrap up the stream. Glad everybody hung out. Hope you had a good time. Yeah, you're still here. Yeah, my YouTube stream analytics said that I was down to 1 viewer. But yeah, the arc is the new arc is definitely different, you know. And I have to say that last time, like before the last match, I really didn't look through the skills very much. I mean, I looked at them enough to use Hidden Sentry. And the enemy team also used Hidden Sentry. So it was good that we both were like slightly on top of things. But yeah, I'm glad I looked through it a little bit more now, because there's some gold there. There's gold, Jerry. Gold. Oh, Mep, I'll show you my archer gear. It's not very exciting. There you go. There's my archer gear. Very basic. Very, very basic archer gear. My armaments are pretty good, though. I've got what? I've got 10.3, 15.2, 17.7. We'll say 20%. And then this is 6.7%. So like 26.7% of archer stats on Boudica. So that's pretty good. Yeah, the gear's, you know, the gear's just purple though. Oh yeah, HTT, feel free to send me some reports if you're still here. That'd be cool to check them out. Yeah, sorry, I saw you say that earlier, HTT, and then I forgot to act on it. But yeah, we did get a very big migration in from 1252. Very happy to have all of them. And so we have, you know, Yuli migrated in, who is our new top player in terms of kill points. Vaden is also a new migrant, and he's 3rd. Nolar's a new migrant. Anna's a new migrant. And Shoto's a new migrant. So literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of our top 10 killers, you know, 5 of our top 10 best killers are brand new migrants to the kingdom, which is awesome. I think one more, at least one more big killer, Natsu, is going to migrate soon. So I mean, we gained about 100 billion kill points. We were at about we were at like 120, 125 kill points. And now we're up to 197 with more to come. There's still more people coming. So it's quite good. And even if you go down the rankings a little bit more, right? If you go to like our top 15, what about our top 20? Dude, if you look at our top 20 killers, so many of them are new migrants. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 of our top 10 killers. 10 of our 20 top 10 kill. Jeez. 10 of our top 20 killers are brand new migrants. And even Meowster's pretty new. Magellan's pretty new. Alphonse is pretty new. So we really have become a new alliance in a lot of ways. And we do need to still work out what leadership changes we need to make. I think we certainly need to bring some of the players from these newer groups into the leadership structure. I think that's something that is planned, but it's just not something that we've discussed yet. But it's definitely a new group that we have here. And, you know, for people like myself, I have to prove myself all over again. I have to prove myself with a brand new group. It kind of feels like starting from scratch, you know, where like nothing you've done in the past really matters. What you've done in the past or what we have done in the past has allowed us to build a strong alliance, but now we're just back to square one, and we either play well or we don't. And so it's a little bit, it's exciting. It's exciting is the main thing. You know, I have, there have been some off seasons where I smoke pot in the off season, but I have not smoked any pot for about 5 months. I drank very little in the month of May. I'm planning to drink even less in June. And I'm basically just trying to bring my A game to whatever is in the future for Kingdom 770. You know, all of us are imperfect ROK players. We make mistakes. We don't spend unlimited amounts of money. We don't play 24 hours a day. But when you have a very strong alliance, when you have a bunch of new people who, you know, came to play with this group, you know, everyone does want to put our best foot forward and make people feel good about the migration decisions that they have made. And for me, that just comes down to being healthy and then also being focused with my work, getting my work done quickly so that I have time to exercise, have time to play the game, have time to make videos, and just get a little bit of balance in my life. So I basically like am a happy person, and I think that will just make me a better ROK player. So it's good, you know. Basically, I think pressure and challenge are good things because they push you to be a better version of yourself. And that's pretty much what's happened with these new migrants. They're just kind of pushing me to be a better version of myself. That all being said, I always like it when we have an easy arc opponent, so let's see what the arc opponent looks like. Oh, it doesn't say. It doesn't say our win. It doesn't say our win streak. But the kill point. Oh, because they're doing it by kill points now. Oh, interesting. Interesting. So they're showing the kill points of the people who are on the team. And the enemy has more kill points than we do. Oh, that's... Woof! Woo-wee! Alright. Alright. Well... You know what the only problem with... You know what the only problem with what I just did was? You're going to be able to figure out who your opponent is, right? So, like, anyone from that opposing team who sees my stream will be able to figure out they're playing us. And I just talked about our entire strategy. All right, well, that's just the life of the streamer, so it is what it is. All right, Mapbot's pumped up. Mapbot's ready to go. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a tough match, but, you know, I do think we have a pretty good team. The only thing is I put 3 subs on the team. So that's the part I'm kicking myself about. If I had not put the 3 subs on the team, we might have gotten a different matchup. But yeah, it'll be good. It'll be a good match. Maybe I'll live stream it. I might live stream that match. Put like a delay. Put a delay on the stream. We could even do the voice chat. We could do the Alliance voice chat or something. Might be a good bit of content right there. So I'll think about let's think about doing that. But yeah, everybody, I need to order some dinner while the place is still open. I do appreciate everybody hanging out on the stream. Good luck in your future ROK endeavors. Have a fun weekend, everybody. And I'll see you all on the flip side.